Alrighty, guys. So crazy news. So Jeremy Boring, the CEO of the Daily Wire, has just stepped down. This is pretty shocking to me. A lot of people were not surprised. I'm surprised. Um, this is pretty crazy. Yeah. So he dropped this exclusive with Axios. I don't know why he did it with a left-wing outlet being Axios, owned by Ethan Klein. I mean, sorry, Ezra Klein. But anyway, so the official story is that he stepped down as CEO to focus on creative projects for the company. He told staff in a memo obtained by Axios on Tuesday. So, and Caleb Robinson, the company's founding CEO, become the company's full-time CEO effective immediately. Robinson and Boring have been co-CEO since 2019. Okay, here's why this is crazy. So, within the past week or two, Jeremy Boring has been having a meltdown on X, and this is someone who again I've liked in the past, but ever since I say the Ian Carroll situation, with Ian Carroll being on Joe Rogan 2 weeks ago, he had this whole meltdown how this was a horrific day for Jews because Ian Carroll and Theo Von, Ian Carroll was on Joe Rogan, Theo Von and Candace, and he had this other meltdown which I didn't know about till today. Let me pull this up for you. This one, yeah, right here for Jason Whitlock. He was claiming that Jason Whitlock was some pro Andrew Tate person, and he said this right here: "You're allowed to do whatever you want," which typically involves being a toward us, any chance you get. And just asking questions is a cowardly grift. If you want to make an accusation, be a man and make it. And if you look at this tweet, I don't see how this is insinuating anything that Jeremy Boring thinks it is. I assume that Jeremy Boring is accusing Jason of being an anti-Semite. Yeah, and this, along with how really public the how to explain it, how public the whole things with Candace and Brett Cooper have been, with them leaving the Daily Wire, not in very nice ways. Candace was they're very openly hostile towards her when she left with her firing. Brett, although not being fired, the whole nature of the way she left was very weird and very shocking to say the least. With that being very recent, and I feel like this is not a good look for the Daily Wire. To be honest, ever since Candace left, for me personally, the Daily Wire has not hit the same. And I think for a lot of people, this past year, I don't know what their numbers have been, but I feel like a lot of people have not been as into the Daily Wire. I feel like they just haven't hit the same. Ben Shapiro used to be a huge firecracker, a huge star, still is, but I feel like Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles have overshadowed him, at least for me personally, and from the people I'm around. Candace Owens did a great video on this. I would check out her video discussing this, as she was someone who worked for Daily Wire and was involved with Jeremy Boring. And Ian Carroll also did a very good video on this. I can't validate how, I can't tell you how much of his what he says is accurate. The only thing he did get wrong that I know for sure was him claiming that they tried to get Temple to buy it out, but he issued a correction here. But yeah, Daily Wire losing Jeremy Boring, and here's a clip of Jeremy just being absolutely ridiculous towards Brett Cooper. For context, this is him responding to Brett not defending her replacement on her show. Listen to this.
Better and better and better, and I'm sure we'll continue to. And perhaps Reagan will as well. But what Reagan hasn't done is taking acting classes to be more like Brett Cooper. That is just completely absurd. And it's hurt my feelings a little bit that Brett hasn't done more to defend her friend Reagan.
Middle-aged man had his feelings hurt by something a 23-year-old girl did not do. Crazy. Again, this is a guy who I've liked in the past. I have not appreciated his recent conduct. I'm not reveling or excited that he's leaving. I don't really know what to make of it. So he's apparently going to focus on more creative endeavors. So maybe he'll stay in the company and be on more of the creative side. I do know that his initial aspirations were to be a big Hollywood actor, to be someone who is more creative. So maybe he wants to focus on being a more creative person than an executive. That could be true. Maybe he is just stepping down and leaving the company after he's finished with the projects he's working on. And maybe he'll pursue a more creative path, which, if that's what makes him happy and if that's what he's good at and where his heart is, I truly wish him the best in that. But I'm not one of those people wishing for the downfall of the Daily Wire. I truly, I think the Daily Wire is a net good for the conservative community, despite how wrong I feel they are on the Israel issue, despite how horribly they treated Candace and how horribly they treated Brett Cooper and the many other stories I've heard from people working there, how A lot of people have not had a great experience working there. I feel like this is a company that can be reformed, and that I would not like to see go away. I would like to see the Daily Wire get reformed and improved and taken in a better direction, and I believe that can happen. I do believe that can happen. I hope whoever this Caleb guy is, he's been there since the beginning. I hope some real change comes to the Daily Wire. I hope they realize their weaknesses, they own up to them, and I hope this is a change in tide. And yes, I wish the best for Jeremy Boring. I wish the best for the Daily Wire. I really hope we see some true change in this company where they allow for some dissenting voices and really become more of an America First company. Because honestly, if you look at the hosts, a lot's changed over the past few years. I don't think Michael Knowles needs the Daily Wire. I think he'll be just fine on his own if the Daily Wire goes under or if he gets fired. Just like Candace was just fine on her own. I think Matt Walsh will be just fine, but I think it is nice for him to have the backing of the Daily Wire to do his documentaries. Those are very expensive to do. I don't know if he'd be able to do them on his own. I'm sure Valuetainment or some other company would hire him though. But yeah, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Like and subscribe. I am going to do another video on the whole Crisis King fiasco. That's why I didn't talk about that too much in here. But I want to go. I believe that deserves its own video, so I will be discussing that. So yes, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow me on YouTube and Rumble, and follow me on X. And let me know, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think we're not being told? How do you feel about this whole situation? Alrighty, guys, you have a blessed one. Goodbye.